Right. Do you want to know the biggest problem that all trainee and new copywriters have that they will never get around unless they understand this?
Nah.
I'll tell you at the end.
While we're here.
Welcome to The Fix. Sit down with copywriting experts Nick O'Connor and Glenn Fisher as they review, discuss, and improve real-world copy sent in by you. This is The Fix.
I'm saying this off the back of having done 3 rounds of coaching with different writers this week, and we did our first live webinar earlier in the week. And I realized that in lots of what I've been doing, I've been talking in the abstract. So you try and talk abstractly about how to find an idea or what a great idea looks like or how to get your idea down on the page. And I'll say a lot of it was a work of pure genius. I mean, I would say that. It was good stuff. But the overwhelming feeling I get at the end of all things like that is it's only half of the story. You can only truly get it when you actually see it happening, preferably with your own copy. It's a little bit like somebody giving you a recipe and then you never cooking the recipe and expecting to know what the dish tastes like. It's like you'll only get it when you take that abstract idea and you put it into concrete practice, and preferably somebody talks you through what went wrong or what went right about it. That is the only way you'll ever draw the idea down from the abstract level to the practical level. And it's the one thing that a lot of copywriters actually don't want. They don't want to seek out. They want to hide in a book or a course or at distance.
It's very true. I'm immediately reminiscing of, I bought a cookbook recently because of your analogy, which I thought was a good one. And I'm going to labor it. It was called Brutto. And it had a recipe for focaccia bread, which I've never made in my life. But I thought, no, I'm going to make focaccia bread. So I followed the recipe and I put it all in the oven and it came out and I thought, this is quite nice. I quite like this. This is all right. Said I'm the bread king. Shared it on Instagram and I said, I called me the bread king from now on. My first focaccia bread. I won't say loaf because it was like a big flat thing. And my friend who is a baker, like expert baker, just replied going, dude, like, no. His wife sent me a separate message going, has he seen you claim that you're the bread king, the focaccia king? Anyway, with that, next night I receive an image of his focaccia, and it looks like a completely different thing. And it's like, mine didn't look like that prior to it being baked. And it's like this fantastic, brilliant focaccia, and mine was like this hard slab of thing. Point being, it's another example. It might be okay, the one that you've made that by the abstract and what it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But to really get the good stuff, to really, you need to have someone show you, oh, actually, no, you're meant to do this at that stage. This is what it really looks like. It should look like this at this point when you put it into the oven. And that's why it will look like this when you send it out into the world and seamlessly into promo, and the promo works. If you don't know that, you're screwed. So yes, I fully agree with that analogy. I think it's a good one.
Show, don't tell at the highest possible level you can operate. Yeah. Things in the abstract are by their nature. You're being told this is how something works. That's interesting, and it's the first part. It's obviously going to be where people start, but they need to be shown, and that's where the learning really starts. And actually, it's the people who can take that abstract idea and apply it and reapply it and rework it and work within the context of the advice that they're given that really succeed. So within the context of that, let's look at some copy. I've got a piece of copy on my screen. It's an email that I'm going to read out. Now, if you can see my screen, you'll see it's email number 2. There was 3 sent in. I've picked the one in the middle for no particular reason. And I'm going to read it out loud. Okay. The subject line says, it could be 2018 all over again. The copy reads, Dear reader, in 2018, I gave my readers the shot at 6-figure gains right before the crypto crash. The next line reads, and that was after I predicted it. That is a hyperlink. Today, I want to do something similar because with Benzinga now predicting, quote, an extraordinary shock to the system, and billionaires like Mark Cuban preparing for a panic in the crypto, quote, panic in the crypto market, I want to help my readers profit from all this volatility. That's why now I've taken the step I took back in the crypto winter in helping my readers in my new urgent presentation, which is also a hyperlink. Click here to find my new 6 coins set to pay a total of more than $25 billion this coming year alone. You won't be disappointed. Best regards. And then the sign off. Okay, so we're in the realm of cryptocurrency, which if you're if you follow the financial markets, you know that it's probably this year is probably going to be a big year in the crypto world, because right at the start of the year, as many people have predicted, the first ever Bitcoin ETF was approved. So it's sort of brought in to the financial world, which is a sort of major green light. So we're going to see lots of financial copy focusing on cryptocurrencies this year. So it won't be the only person writing about this theme. I have a few different things I would do to change this.
Yeah, well, go for it. I mean, I will lay my, just to say it, I think it's written, it sounds like someone schizophrenic has written this. Like, that's the problem with this. And it's far too much copy. It's written as copy. That's what I will put my line in the sand there, but I will let you explain and show, no doubt, as is your wont, Nicholas, how you could improve this.
I'm going to try. Yeah, I think there is a bit of copy. I gave my readers the shot at 6-figure gains and stuff like that. And, you know, it always goes without saying, when we talk about things being copy, and Glenn, I'll have a little confession to you here. When I was in the States a few weeks ago, and I'd written a piece of copy while I was traveling, sort of trying to get out there and stuff, and I showed it to the copy chief I was working with, and she was like, the headline is just copy. In fact, she said it to me over breakfast in front of other writers. John Ford was there, other people. It didn't bother me, but I did think, oh God, he could have waited until they were here. Oh, I mean, she was right. It was slight. There was a slight.
I'd say we all do that, by the way.
We all do it.
It's the thing, and sometimes that's what you just do, that and get it out there. But that when there's too much copy, and also when I talk about the schizophrenia element of this, it's because it's actually every sentence is like jackknifing. So it's like, oh, then I did this, and then it's this, and then it's like, where am I? Like, you don't need that. You need to, copy should be a lot more subtle than that. Yes. And presumably, if it's the same person I'm thinking of who said that to you, they are a big ambassador of subtlety in copy. That's what we're really looking for.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying that to say that when we say it's too copy, that gets said to everybody. Everybody falls into that trap sometimes. And it's what we do when we're not quite sure what our idea is yet. And there are 2 questions to ask yourself that are the solution to that problem, which is, what am I really trying to say? That, by the way, asking yourself that is the single fastest way of solving any problem with copy that you're having, any idea, because it strips away all of the bullshit around that you impose on yourself about trying to make it sound right and clever and dramatic, and just boils it down to, what am I really trying to say? And then the second follow-up question to that is, and how would I say it if I was just talking to somebody in a pub, or the bar stool test? Obviously, we don't have bar stools really in the UK. We have pubs, and we would go and sit we wouldn't sit at the bar. But it's the same thing. How would we just talk about this? So ask yourself those 2 questions. So that's the antidote when we talk about copy. I'm going to talk about the structure, actually. So, because actually this will only be relevant to the person that sent the copy in, but all 3 pieces of copy that I read, all 3 of them, had the same issue, which is, I'm going to read that opening to you. Okay. It says, in 2018, I gave my readers the shot of 6-figure gains right before the crypto crash. And that was after I predicted it. Which doesn't quite make sense. The sort of payoff doesn't quite make sense. But anytime you're doing something like that, like you're talking about a prior example of something happening, you have to show me what happened. You have to actually explain that to me. You have to set it up. So, for instance, if you say in 2018, I shared a handful of let's just tell that as a story. In 2018, the crypto market exploded or imploded. Sorry. Bitcoin. So we'll put some context in. Bitcoin went from $60,000 to $5,000. I think those numbers are wrong. I'm thinking of the next crash, but whatever. Went from here to here, and lots of investors lost everything. It was a bloodbath. But people who followed my advice could have walked a different path through the crisis. On the eve of the crash, I shared a handful of trades with them, and then it on in that vein. Okay, that's probably going to be about 8 lines of copy. The way I said it, I'd try and get it down to sort of 5 or 6, which would be possible. But we have to explain what happened, right? We have to sort of put the first part of the idea, the setup to the joke, so to speak, up there and show what happened. Because then when you say, today, I'm stepping forward with a very similar warning, because once again, people are predicting a big crash in the crypto markets. Bazinga are predicting extraordinary shock to the system. Okay, all that stuff now makes sense because you've told me that story up top. So and then you can swing around and say, okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to share those plays with you. You need that setup to be slightly longer and more developed so that you can point at what happened and then say it's going to happen again. So you can address the balance in the copy by talking more about the past and only briefly about the present. But weirdly, that will make it stronger because it's like this happened in the past and it's about to happen again. And then we've got a pattern, we've got credibility, we've got implied promise because you could have made however much you could have made. And we only need a slight hint. The same situation's about to play out again. So it's all grounded. So that whole lift note can work, but it doesn't work because it tries to do that first bit so quickly. I gave my readers the shot of 6-figure gains right before the crypto crash, and that was after I predicted it. That on its own doesn't tell me anything. You don't prove that's true. I don't even really understand what you're saying. When you say, and that was after I predicted it, you weirdly go back to before the crash. You say there was a crash and then obviously it was after you predicted it. How could something happen before you'd predicted it? Like the language is all, you see what I mean?
I'm trying to do that now. I'm going to try.
Everything that I predict that comes true must happen after I predict it. By definition, it can't happen. Otherwise, I'm just describing the past. It's like me saying, Glenn, I'm going to predict that the Queen will die last year, but she died before I predicted it. It's all the wrong way around. You see what I mean? Okay, this is like the start of the weird novel. So we got to set that up, get that right, and then it becomes very simple and it won't sound so jagged, as you say, because you get this now you kind of ground it in the real world, and then it'll work. But you need to do that. You need to get the setup right.
I'm always very aware, by the way, when we say this a lot, you need to do this. You don't need to do it, by the way.
You do.
No, they don't need to. They should do it if they want to succeed and write better copy and get noticed and what have you. They don't need to do it. But yeah, no, you're entirely right, Nick. And it's those first 2 lines that just undermine the whole thing because you have copied. You just said, gave my readers 6-figure gains right before the crypto crash. It's like what you've also done, which I think
assumed knowledge.
It's assumed knowledge. That's what I was going to say. It is one of the. It's a bit like everybody says it, but it's kind of true. Like you've just assumed so much knowledge there, like, and you've got to write to people who don't know that yet. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to like err on the side of caution, even if you're writing to a financial file who you know they're going to be kind of relatively crypto aware. You just you've got to be softer. You've got to.
Or you can skirt it. For instance, you could say, if you owned cryptocurrencies in 2018, you'll remember what a bloodbath it was. Bitcoin crashed. But not for my readers. So you can still, but you still need to tell that story. It's a chance to tell a story that will set up your idea that this has happened before, and B, establish the credibility of your author. You can make it work.
You you kind of got my brain stopped kind of listening a little bit in the subject line when it's saying it could be 2018 all over again, because that is like a flash of assumed knowledge, because it's like, what happened in 2018? Did something happen? Like, I can't remember what I was doing in 2018. Is this to do with what have you? It's like, it's just, you just assume. It shows, you know, I like to look for clues that give away what the copywriter is thinking. That shows that the copywriter is thinking, oh, I'm speaking to people who understand all of this. They already inherently know that 2018 is a crypto crash, and I'm going to make a crypto call on this. It's like, but no one knows what happened in 2000. Lots of things happened in 2018. I can't think of one because I'm terrible with dates.
I can't think of many.
If you just say it could be 2018 all over again, I go, good. I'll try it again. Like,
it could be last
probably
Tuesday.
Screwed it up last time. Like,
you're right, Glenn.
It's too much assumed knowledge.
There's very few things that you can make that sweeping reference to. So in the financial markets, you can say 2008 a little bit because everyone remembers 1929
or 29, whatever kind of thing.
Yeah, or you could say, you know, it's COVID all over again because everybody experienced COVID, and therefore that has I don't know if that's a schema or not. I forget how you define that, but it's a cultural touch point that you know. But you know, if it just said history is repeating itself, it would be stronger than it could be 2018 all over again. But speaking of sort of clues, giveaway clues, I thought we could end just digging into the language a little bit. And I want to focus on the last line of the copy. So it's actually a hyperlink with a little line at the end that isn't a hyperlink, but it's all part of the same paragraph. It says, click here to find my new 6 coins set to pay a total of $125 billion this coming year alone. That's quite a wordy sentence. But the next sentence says, you won't be disappointed. Best regards. Now, that reminded me of, I was given a little bit of copy advice to a mutual friend of ours he's moving into he started a political movement outside of the UK, okay? And he's writing letters to try and it's a think tank, trying to get donors, okay? So he's writing cold-ish emails out to people to try and get their interest. And he's not a copywriter, very, very smart guy, but he's not a copywriter. That's why he came to us. Oh, he came to me. And he said, oh, can you have a look at this message? And the first line said, if I remember rightly, I hate to bother you, something like that. And it's the same thing. You've put the word hate right in at the start. This piece of copy ends on the word disappointed. You won't be disappointed. All that does is say
you will
disappointed.
be disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does worse than that. It says you will be disappointed.
It just puts that, can't, there are certain words you just can't use. And I mean, the message I was just talking, I hate to bother you or whatever. That's bad on 2 levels, because one, it's the classic, I know you're really busy, so I won't keep you long, which you see all over the place. And it's like, just delete it. It does no work for you. And I had the follow-up of having the word hate in there, which you cannot experience positively. You might not experience negatively, but like, do you know what I mean? They might just wash over you.
Weirdly, we watched Basic Instinct last night for the first time, which was a lot of hate. Apparently,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Anyway,
don't sign. Certainly, the last link of an email should just be a link, and then cheers, because it's the last thing you want them to describe. But you don't want to end on the word disappointed. You won't be disappointed, because the only way to experience that is as the message. It's disappointing.
There's also, you're entirely right. I'm a big believer in that. There's 3 elements to that. There's the one you're talking about, where it's like, when you say something like that, the word or everything else falls away, and you're like, well, you said disappointed, I'm thinking of disappointment. There's also the purely technical thing of ending sentences is often where the last word is the word that you're going away with. So actually, that it's a really advanced and like pedant element of copywriting. But if you're that good and you're looking for even better ways to get better, have a look at the end. Like, what is the words that you're leaving in the reader's mind? But then there's the third element, which I've now forgotten because I went through the other 2 elements
They were good. I think there's only two. You just wanted, by the rule of three,
there is a third.
Well, it's a bit. While you think of that, it's a.
Oh, I know. I remembered. It reminds me of the same like analogous thing is when you say stuff like "I believe" and all of that kind of stuff, or it's saying, oh, it's the car salesman kind of way of writing copy, where it's like if you're saying like, well, I believe that this is like saying actually. Why are you saying that? Like, just tell me. Like, why are you couching all of these statements and going? It's couching stuff, going, giving people a reason not to believe you, when really all you're doing is showing yourself that you don't believe yourself. Like, if you were so excited about these 6 coins that are going to pay out thing, I'm not going to tell you won't be disappointed. I'm going to be like wringing your neck trying to get you to read this. I ain't got time to say, trust me. That's the great one. Like, trust me on this. It's really good. I write trust me in some of our emails to a private joke to one person, myself, that I'm writing bad copy. And it's like, no, trust me. And thinking myself that I'm laughing at myself writing trust me, because it's the worst piece of copy you can right kind of thing.
Well, the only way to do it is almost to draw attention to it. So it's like, I'm going to ask you to trust me and take a leap of faith. Now, why would you do that? We've never met. Well, I did this and this and this in the past, and I'm asking you now to set aside everything you've heard about this idea and trust me and come with me. Then it can work, but you're acknowledging the weakness. Anyway,
especially for PS. I'm stood behind you at your window. You really should trust me, because if not, bad things are about to happen.
It's like if you were, this sign up is the equivalent of like if somebody was house sitting for you, and as you were leaving the house, just the last thing they said was, "I definitely won't burn it down."
Yeah.
And then
I was just going to say, it's the League of Gentlemen. Ruth's been watching League of Gentlemen. We didn't burn him.
We're not going to hurt him.
Yeah.
I'm a nice man, really.
Yeah.
Like, by saying that, you create weakness. So you just don't need that. So that can just be cut. So just think about how you end, and don't draw attention to weakness in copy. Can't ever really work. Like adding a weak word, like you won't be disappointed. All you get is the weakness. All you get is that negative idea. You don't get anything else unless you're doing something clever, or you're subverting it in some way.
Which I did once send an email with the subject line, "I'm disappointed in you," and it got more sales than any of the other things, because it was perverting that idea and saying, "I am disappointed." I was acknowledging the negativity of that word in a subject line. That's kind of proves the point. It's a negative thing. And I'm like, what do you mean?
That was I'm disappointed in you. That has the dynamic. Like you could do an email that said, by the end of this email, you're going to be so disappointed in me. Because weirdly, that sets a bar and makes you think, why? What's he going to say? Anyway, so it's not the word, but it's the placement of the word, and that you won't be. Anyway, I just thought we should sign off with that, because it's a little thing, but we call it, stone in your shoe type sort of stuff. It's not going to add anything, and you'll lose some people, and it will just create a shadow of doubt in your reader's mind that you don't want. Anyway, Glenn, I think we should wrap up, because I have to go and cook my 2 little boys.
Yeah,
and do you want to know what we're having, Glenn?
I would love to know what you're having to.
Toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole.
Which?
From sausage, not my new invention of quode in the hole, which is corn sausages.
No.
Quode in the hole. No.
We do eat.
Are you Anbessying other brands are available, or are you fresh make?
Mate, it's a weekday. We're Anbessying. By the way, just this little end bit has become so English that we're now talking about Aunt Bessie and Toad in the hole.
Don't worry. I'm going to say y'all at the end, and it'll be solved. It'll become international again.
I think if you're confused by what we just said, you can leave a comment underneath this video, audio feed, whatever, and we'll see. If anyone got this far and wants to know what Toad in the hole is, and they want us to explain, we'll leave that as a cliffhanger. Anyway, Glenn, let's wrap this up. We'll see everybody next week for another episode of The Fix. I will see you tomorrow for various adventures into the world of copy.
Yeah. I can tell you one thing, Nick. You will not be disappointed.
If you enjoy The Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information.